What is going on, people? Welcome back to another video. As you've seen in the title, we're finally covering the A45 AMG. I know we're always doing VW group cars, but I thought finally we'll do the A45 because everyone vouches for this car so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the hype is about, because so many years it's been and this car's been sort of the king of hot hatches. So I want to see for myself and see how it's really like. So yeah, this car belongs to Omar, who's from Bradford. I've swapped cars with him. I've given him the S3 for today. Hopefully he has fun with that and we'll have fun with this. So yeah, what we'll do now, we'll go check out the spec on this one and we'll go for a drive and see how it's finally like. So yeah, let's get started. Right, people, so the A45 AMG, as you can see, this one's finished in black. It's pretty much all blacked out. I like this sort of spec. It definitely is the sort of spec I'd go for. This one also is a facelift car. Some of you keen-eyed viewers will have seen already. The main thing it differs is that this car has 381 horsepower as opposed to the 355 that they had before. You also get more closely stacked ratios, gear ratios that is, and also you get, I believe, 350 pound-feet of torque. In terms of specification on this particular one, has the aero pack. It also has these upgraded alloys and obviously the night pack to go with it, which means it's de-chromed. The aero pack consists of the splitter, these canods. You also get the spoiler on the back. Definitely turns into a proper sort of racy hot hatch. You also get this new diffuser with this extra bit down here, which wasn't on the pre-facelift. Also, this car's got the AMG performance exhaust, which should sound pretty good. I have driven alongside this particular car and it does sound pretty great. It's very loud, and yeah, hopefully we'll get to give it some through the gears when we go for a drive. Moving on to the interior. I hope it's not too windy up here so you can hear what I'm saying. Hopefully we'll sort that out now. In terms of the interior, it's basically normal A-Class with AMG trimmings on it. A lot of you guys may be in the know about how the A45 is spec'd out. You get these nice bucket seats which hug you in very well. I'm sat in my one right now. Red trimming everywhere. You won't go in there. Nice dials which look a bit like a turbine, and you get this fat steering wheel which I like. It's got a nice like Alcantara on the side. Definitely feels like you can hold on and chuck this thing into the corners. You also get these nicely finished paddles as well. In terms of the gearbox, it is a 7-speed DCT which has been operated for the facelift. It has sort of closely stacked ratios compared to before. You also get, which this has the AMG performance exhaust like I mentioned. It's got the button here as well. You've got heated seats, the rest of the toggles here. You also get this nice dial here which controls the driver modes. You've got individual, comfort, sport and sport plus. And over here by the gearbox, which is like a similar sort of lever to what I remember first seeing on something like an SLS, you get the manual bit here. Just leave it in permanently manual. So you park there and the levers here, you just hold the brake and you move it as you would a gear lever. And I'm going to be controlling from the paddles mainly. So as you can see, it's a very smart looking interior. I know a lot of you guys are not a fan of this interior, especially because it's quite an expensive car. Some of you guys probably think for £40,000 you shouldn't get stuff like a tacked on screen, but for me, I'm more into the drive, so I don't really see too much of an issue with it. Yeah, some of the plastics aren't what you expect from a quite an expensive car, but you've got to remember the interior is designed for the A-Class range and then they adapt it. It's the same in most cars. It's like, for example, you take a 1 Series, the 1160 has the same sort of interior plastics as a fully spec'd out M140i, so you got to take that into consideration. But what we'll do now, we'll finally turn on the car. It has got the AMG Sports exhaust. You get a little button here, if you can see that allows you to switch between the exhaust valves on the fly. I wish that sort of button was on the VAG cars, but yeah, it should sound pretty good. There you go. That thing is so crazy sounding. I forgot how loud it was. But yeah, what we'll do now, we'll finally jump in and go for that drive because this thing is bloody crazy. I need to drive it right now. So yeah, let's jump in. Right, people, so here we are on the A45 AMG. I think the way we'll structure this video is we'll compare it to the other hot hatches I've driven, and then we'll also judge it individually because obviously it is a pretty exciting car. But we need to go over the sort of ways it differs to the other hot hatches and mainly how it also is quite similar as well. But yeah, first things first, yeah, we've just been driving it for about 5-10 minutes now, and the first thing I've noticed is that the seat is quite hard. Like, it literally feels like a rock, and obviously it plays into the sort of whole package in the sense that this is quite a racy hot hatch. maybe that's just the way Mercedes wants to pitch this car. Like, they want it to be all racy and focused, but it is definitely quite a hard seat. But yeah, hopefully that should play to its advantage when we chuck it on some corners, because hopefully you'll be stuck in more. It definitely holds you in, there's no doubt about that. Right people, so we're just going to put it in manual only mode. Be interesting if this stays in manual, because that's one thing I don't like about the VAG DSG. Even if you leave it in manual, it'll auto change at the red line, but we'll try it out now in second. Okay. Yeah, you know that 380 brake you feel at the top end? Got it in Sport Plus. Bloody hell. There's a lot of top end on this car. See, this car has 281 horsepower like we mentioned, but they say you got the other cars like the Focus RS, for example, that's got 350 apparently, and it's supposed to have 350 torque just like this. But I'm telling you, if you were to put a Focus RS against this, the gap would be so big, it would be literally massive, because the Focus RS feels slower than the Golf R that I've driven. So this is actually 380 horsepower, I can feel it, because I drove an S4 previously, you guys must have watched that video. That had around 350 horsepower, and obviously it was more GT car like, but this is noticeably quicker than that, and noticeably quicker than the S3 once it gets going. I'm telling you straight guys, you know when a car is good, there's no reason I'm gassed like this. If the car was bad, I'll tell you. You know, a lot of people, they got bad things to say about A45. Now, I used to be one of them. I used to be like, you know what, it's not as fast as they say it is. You know, because a pre-facelift would easily get, it wouldn't be able to be an S3, for example. We've done it multiple times. And with this facelift one, we have lined up this exact car, and 3 times it was a dead even race. Now, that was over like a quarter-mile thing. Now, I was thinking, hold on, that car's a bit overrated then. But, you know, once you get behind the wheel, it's like the car sort of is like alive. Like the whole thing just vibrates when you accelerate. Hardly any roll as well. Hardly any roll. All this aero and these load suspension, all that, it just makes a big difference, man. I'm used to having a bit of roll to contain a bit of understeer. So far I haven't felt too much understeer, but we haven't pushed it too much as yet. If I was in this and the S3 was behind me, my S3, you wouldn't be able to keep up. You'd be able to keep up, it'd be in my mirror, but the thing is, the confidence this gives you, see, it's not always about the car's rollability. If the car gives you confidence, that's one thing, because if the car's leaning about and the steering is a bit, you know, you won't want to push it as much, even if the car can do it technically. But I mean, that's how I feel. That's why when I drove the R, I said it's so capable, because I could push it more than my S3. Bloody hell. It's like a game. See this corner here, yeah? No problem. And it's like, not like it feels dangerous or anything. You can only push cars really on a back road if you feel confident with them. That's the main thing. And like, I've been on this road like probably 100, 150 times now. I know how it's like. It's smooth and bumpy at the same time. This portion's quite smooth, so obviously the car has no issues at all. Some of the back bits around there, they are quite bumpy, but like I mentioned, it absorbs it quite well. I mean, just for the sake of it, we'll whack it back into D and we'll put it in comfort, because I know some of you guys like to see a comprehensive review, but that's as far as we're going to go. We're not going to start talking about boot space and that. You can look at some other channels for that. So it's back in D now, comfort. Car's shot up as well, the exhaust is off. It's in 5th, 6th gear now already at normal speed. Can't really hear much at all. Does the ride improve much? A bit, yeah, but the thing is, it was so good in Sport Plus that I didn't really feel like, you know what, there needs to be 2 modes. I still can feel the imperfections, but not in much less than the Sport Plus mode. That is a bit weird. You downshift here. We're gonna get kicked out of this village. I mean, Sport handling mode, which is obviously probably like ESC Sport in my car, I don't seem to feel too much difference. The traction control in this in Sport Plus I don't know if it partially disengages it anyway, but it's not very intrusive. So I mean, generally I am quite impressed. The steering does have a lot of turns lock to lock. It is quite a long travel. The S3 and the Golf R, they're very darty. You can make a lot of adjustments with a lot of actual steering adjustment with not much turns of the wheel. This does have a long travel, it's very accurate, and in the bends it obviously would easily. It's very similar to the R in that sense. It's a bit more harsh than the R, but I can't imagine you saying that, for example, in the bends you're going to leave an R behind. It's not going to happen. It's just very good at what it does. It feels a bit more exotic than the other ones. It's got, you know, the way you hold the paddles to put it in race start and all that, which we'll go over in a second. It feels like a big AMG put into a small car, rather than, let's say, a normal hatchback adapted to be fast. Like all the paddles and the steering wheel, it feels like mini, like supercar elements put in a small car, which is nice. We'll see if we can do a race start here now. The owner did briefly show me, but nevertheless I might still forget, so we'll just have it a go now. You hold both paddles, you turn the you put in sport handling mode, you hold both paddles. Race start, paddle up. Race start, depress accelerate. Race start available. It's clear. Oh, it sounds like a jet. Bloody hell. You know, it jutted at the start because the surface is a bit shit, but it just, you know, the first to second gear change. Yeah, I think the main reason why when some people line up against one of these in their Golf 1 S3 and they keep up is mainly to do with the gearbox. I think that's what it is, because, you know, sometimes it does judder a bit, and when we did the race start just then, initially it was sort of juddering off the line, which normally with the VAG cars they just go, like there's no fuss at all. This launch control almost seems like it's wheel spinning slightly, but once it gets going, it's a top end monster. I'm so glad you guys kept banging on about it. I would have just kept saying no, like, you know, I'll do it eventually, like, you know. I thought might as well do it finally. Like, the owner Omar got in contact with me, he was like, you gotta do a review on my car, and I was like, yeah, we'll eventually do it. And I'm so glad we finally chose to do it today. Like, I would have just carried on thinking, yeah, it's like this, it's probably like that. But you never know till you drive them. The way it gathers pace is unbelievable, man. I think what we'll do, because it sounds so good, we gotta hear it from the outside as well. We've already revved it, so I'm just gonna get my mate to jump out. He's gonna capture a few flybys for us, but hopefully launch it as well, so you'll get to hear that sort of race start. Right, I hope you guys managed to hear that from the outside. Those flybys were pretty loud from what my friend was saying. I can imagine what it's like, because I hate A45s driving around. It's just literally bang, 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 and the overrun is amazing. The closest I've had a drive of a hot hatch that has an overrun like this is the Focus RS, but this seems to do it just as much, and it has more of a engine noise, like, you know, for example, the whirring and the intake. It's just very mechanical noise, and it's just because it's a lot faster, you get more of exhilaration. Pretty awesome car. So I mean, what we'll do now, because it's getting a bit dark, we'll head back rooftop and we'll finish off the video there. I'm hoping to get some nice night clips as well for you guys, because it's a blacked out A45 AMG. It should look good in the dark. I should have all this nice ambient lighting as well, so it should be pretty good. See you guys in a second. Right people, so here we are at the rooftop where we started. It's gone dark all of a sudden. It just happens when you're driving a fun car, and trust me, this car is properly exciting. Now I'm gonna go ahead and say it, this is the best hot hatch I've driven. So there you go, it's the best hot hatch I've driven so far. We've driven pretty much all of them, so I think the only car that's left is the RS3, and that's gonna have to be really good to be better than this. It's just the way it handles. Like, I thought the Golf R handles well. That does handle really well, but this thing with its aero pack and the way you feel in your seat, like, I don't know, the overall experience makes it just much more exciting. And you heard those gear changes, they're bloody crazy. Engine note, you get this whirring, it feels really mechanical, and that's what I love about it. So yeah, A45 AMG, best hot hatch I've driven. Now, it does have quite a few drawbacks. The gearbox, for example, is a bit lungy, and the launch is quite juddery. The seat feels like it's made out of cardboard, and it is quite a lot of road noise. But to be honest, the way it drove, I can forgive it for that. But I will say that it's not really dual purpose like the other hot hatches. Yeah, you can use it for a cruise, but to be honest, those seats, if you're driving it for a whole day during the inner city sort of run, it's going to give you backache. For me, it did, and my mate who's slightly different build to me, it's giving him backache as well. So when you're on those back roads, you get an adrenaline rush because it's such a fun car, so you kind of forget that. But you know, if you're just cruising around in the city, the ride's good, but just the seat is quite racy. But then I guess, I mean, look at the car. It's a race car pretty much. So yeah, generally a very good car. Big shout out to Omar for letting me drive it. He's been out in the S3 today, so I'm hoping to see what he thinks of that. And yeah, just been a great day. Really enjoyed it. Like, genuinely, like, I've been really happy driving this thing. And if I never had the S3 or just got the S3, I would definitely consider one of these. So anyway guys, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, trust me, I'm not even exaggerating. I was really excited driving this thing. I never had, well, I had sort of mid expectations for it, but you know, when you drive it straight away, AMG done a good job. I don't know what the pre-facelift is like, but this thing's a riot. Anyway guys, if you got a car that you'd like to see on the channel, drop me an email. I'll put it on the screen now and put it in the description as well. Give the video a thumbs up like I mentioned, and subscribe for more to come. I've got plenty of videos to come, and check my other previous ones if you want to see what I think about the other hot hatches. We've covered pretty much most of them bar the RS3, so yeah, you get an accurate sort of view of why I think this is the best one I've driven so far. And yeah, take care guys, and I'll see you next video.